There is a difference between wanting to show up for yourself and actually showing up for yourself. I know I've talked about this a few times on my channel, the importance of showing up for yourself. So, I want to continue to talk about it because it's very, very important. I feel like it's very important that we continue to show up for ourselves. We actually take those necessary steps to show up for ourselves. And so I'm going to start off with one question. What does it really look like for me to show up for myself? For me, I have found out that asking myself certain questions and actually taking the time to sit down and honestly and fully answer the questions for me, right? I don't think about saying the right things, or I don't think about saying something in particular that will make me feel good. It's like the raw, deep, honest truth for myself. And I love doing that. And I had some other questions come up for me this week pertaining to what is it that I really want to do. We at one point of our life, we might be going in one direction and say, yes, this is what I want to do. And then maybe a few months down the road, things change and it's okay. That's a way where we can keep ourselves on track, right? It's just asking those questions to see where we at and saying, for example, is this job fulfilling for me, or what I'm doing to become a better individual? Is it fulfilling me? Is it assisting me? So I decided to create a guide, right? It's called The Decision to Show Up for You. I created it because the experience that I had with myself, with taking those necessary steps to show up for me, is it's an amazing feeling, right? And so I wanted to create the guide in order to assist someone else, because I know that there are times where we want to show up for ourselves, and sometimes we don't know where to start, and that's okay. So the guide, I think it's about 8 to 10 pages. And so I created it with, no, I created it from my personal experience, because, a lot of individuals say, well, I'm an expert at this and I'm an expert at that. I'm not saying that, people who say that they are not experts, but some people just love to say it. So I'm not an expert in showing up for myself, but I am working towards becoming better. I like to say that I am working towards becoming better with showing up for myself, and I make it my business. I make it my intention to do that. And so with the guide, is going to be free, right? It is, like I said, it's coming from my personal experiences and the things that I've been through, and just to let people know that I am still working towards, becoming a better individual. I am still working towards learning how to show up for myself more, because I think it's really good when you show the human side of yourself, meaning, no, I don't have everything in order. It may look like it, to the next individual, but no one has it together fully. However you want to say it is, or however you think someone is living a certain way, it is, looks are deceiving sometimes. So it's just like, I want to show the human side of me, like, hey, I messed up doing this, or I was consistent with this for 2 months or 3 weeks, and I went back to doing the same habits. And, that's okay. That's going to happen. Don't get down on yourself. Don't beat yourself up. You just have to have those skills to know how to bring yourself back up and have to and do a reset and start all over, because I had to do a reset, right? There were times where, I'm not going to say there were times, not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, I've been going to the gym consistently 3 or 4 times a week. And a couple of weeks ago, there were some days where I couldn't get up, right? Meaning my body was tired. I was overworked because like I worked 2 jobs. So I have a job, regular job that I go into, and then I work for my friend in her business. And it's like doing those 2 things and switching up my schedule with the gym and everything. It was an adjustment. And then at my job, I was able to get on an earlier schedule, which worked out perfect for me and everything was flowing. But I don't know, it seems like once I wasn't able to make that time at work again, it was like 2 hours later that I had to be at work than I normally would. That threw me off a little bit. And so my sleep cycle changed, the way that I was doing things changed. And so that kind of took, I wouldn't say like a heavy toll, but it was an adjustment. Because, when things change in our life, we have to know how to adjust. And I can be open and honest and say, it like I said, that was a couple of weeks ago. Now I'm getting in the groove of adjusting, because that first week when my schedule changed at work, man, I couldn't get out the bed, and I wasn't hard on myself. I didn't get down on myself because I couldn't get up and go to the gym, because my body needed more rest. Like my sleep cycle was totally thrown off. And so I had to give myself grace. And like I said, I can say that honestly. And then the following week, it happened again. So for each week, I went to the gym 1 time out the week. And to be honest, that one day I was like, okay, just go ahead and go. So I had to actually just jump up and start getting ready, in which that's usually not how I get up. I have to lay there and kind of like say my affirmations and meditate a little bit before I get up. And then when my body is ready to get up, I get up. So the following week, same thing happened. But like I said, that's okay. I had to do a reset. I had to begin to get myself back on track. So towards the end of this week, it got much better. And so next week I'm on it far as like the changes. But yeah, that's been my experience thus far. And so I'm going to continue with my workout plan, like going to the gym 3 to 4 times a week and making sure that I go to sleep when I'm supposed to, because that's another thing that I was doing. Since my sleep schedule changed, it was like once I got home and I was able to wind down, I would go to sleep probably like an hour after I got home. And so that threw things off as well. So it's just doing the necessary things and acknowledging, the switch up and the change. It was a little frustrating, but like I said, I didn't let it get me down to where I was like, oh, I'm not gonna do none of this anymore, just start thinking all these type of things. I just went ahead and said, okay, I know where I need to make the adjustment and I'm willing to do that. So let me go ahead and do it. But yeah, back to the guide that I created. As I stated, it's going to be free. I'm going to put it on my Linktree link. I have a few more adjustments that I want to make and just make sure everything is good, and it's going to be a free download. You get it in your PDF, and then it's all about doing the work. I'm excited about it, and I hope that it truly does assist people with it and take something from it. They don't have to like everything that's in there, and everything in there might not assist them, but as long as something assists them and as long as they're able to get something out of it, I'm grateful for that. So yeah, that's what's been going on, and like I said, I'm excited about the show up for you, the decision. Because the first, I said that because that was just going to be the name of the guide, showing up for yourself. And so I'm like, I'm sure there's other things and other books that's stating exactly that. So I just switched it up and said the decision to show up for yourself, guys. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Didn't want to make this video too long. If this resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe. And take the time, a little bit, a couple seconds, and leave me a comment in there. I would like to know, what steps are you taking in order to show up for yourself more. Remember, it's your world. Go out there and create. Peace.